Did you inhale?
Did I? Yes, I did inhale.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I'll say it right now.
We begin with Dennis Quaid, reflecting on being born in Houston and being raised in a Southern Baptist home, attending First Baptist Church in downtown Houston, before later moving to a church in Texas. He describes the 1950s and 1960s as a great time to grow up in America and recalls being baptized at the age of 9. As he entered his teenage years, however, Quaid admits he became disillusioned, not with God, but with what he describes as churchianity, signaling an early tension between institutional religion and personal faith.
I was born in Houston. I was Southern Baptist. Growing up, we went to the First Baptist Church downtown Houston, and then switched over to Bel Air, Texas. But it's that in the 50s and 60s, it was such a great time to be a kid in this country. And I was baptized when I was 9. And in my teen years, I became disillusioned with what I call churchianity, I guess.
Dennis then shares that his first clear realization of a personal relationship with Jesus didn't come until his 40s. After growing up in the church, he describes taking a long journey of searching before coming full circle and returning to that foundational truth in the 1990s. Quaid is candid about the ongoing nature of faith, acknowledging seasons of spiritual highs and lows, moments when God feels silent and times of doubt. Yet through it all, he emphasizes that he has always continued to talk to God, what he simply calls prayer.
And, that had a personal relationship with him, but that's not the end of the story. I'm a human being, and I've gone through cycles and, of ups and downs, peaks and valleys in my spiritual life, that sometimes, that God is silent, and then I wonder, but I've always, I talk to God,
It's called prayer.
Yeah, and a lot of it's called listening.
There you go.
Next, Dennis reflects on the profound influence his mother had on both his life and his faith. He describes her as the steady rock who was always present, offering guidance, reminders, and sometimes hard truths he didn't want to hear. Quaid shares that his mother deeply loved God and was intentional about wanting her children to have a personal relationship with Jesus. Though that personal faith journey came later in her life, she lived with strong principles and left a lasting spiritual imprint on him. He closes by expressing how deeply he misses her.
Your mama on you and this movie.
Yeah. Well, my mom was always has been. She was the rock in my life, She was there. She was always there to remind me about a lot a lot of things I didn't want to hear as well. But
mom's for.
She was just a really great lady who, loved God and wanted us to have a relationship with Jesus in a very personal way. That personal way really kind of came to her back in the 80s as well, which I guess is late in life. But she was, she was somebody with principles too.
In closing, Quaid offers a thoughtful reflection on faith and seasons of silence. He asks a piercing question: how can faith truly be known unless it is tested? He points to the idea of desert seasons in life, times that feel quiet, lonely, or distant from God, and reframes them through the Hebrew word midbar. Rather than signaling abandonment, midbar carries a positive meaning in Jewish thought. The wilderness is where God is experienced most deeply.
Seasons in your life, as it were, is how do you even know you have faith unless it's called upon? If you never go through a desert season or this kind of midbar, a silent season, and what's really interesting about these kind of silent or what we would call a desert experience or something like that, is the Hebrew word for desert is midbar. And if you would ask somebody that understands the Hebrew language, they would say midbar is actually a positive thing. You know, we think of silent seasons in our life as these
Right.
kind of God's distance from us and he's left us alone and all that. And the Jewish connotation of midbar is very good because the desert, the wilderness is where you experience God. And it's a positive thing in,
Right.
in the Jewish kind of language. And we sometimes get that all wrong, that if it's quiet or it's a lonely season, or if it's kind of a desert season, we're distant, we're further from God. And maybe it's the opposite of that. Maybe that's when we're actually closer to
Yeah.
God, that he's nearer to us.
Faith and trust is strong.
Even at our lowest point,
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
The drug culture that was going on there, it was about to expand your mind, you know.
Did
You put
you
all that
inhale?
together.
It was
you're
like a
mess.
spiritual experience.
Did you inhale?
Did I hit it? Yes, I did inhale.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I did. I'll say it right now. But, you know, I wound up, you know, things are, you know, it's all about really filling that hole, that empty hole.
Thanks for watching Faith in Hollywood on the Gospel Vault. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. For evangelist Dave Jacobs, God bless my friends.